So we gather here together, all those on retreat, all the Sangha here, all monastics and laity on this occasion gather together for this online retreat. And it's normal that when we come together like this, we try to keep the mind under control, but sometimes we can't. Sometimes the mindfulness is weak and delusion arises. And this delusion is not self, but it's a practice of not being heedless when we live together like this. That all of us, all the managers, all the retreatants, all the Sangha as well, we all practice to give forgiveness to one another, to not have any unwholesome karma towards one another. This is one of the customs of the monastics, and also for all the Buddhists here. We practice to give forgiveness for one another so that the mind doesn't feel sad, doesn't feel agitated, so the mind can be in the present completely and ready to practice into the future, to keep practicing. So therefore, all these things that have happened in the past, whether actions of body, speech, or mind, we give forgiveness to one another, and we keep practicing in order to understand the Dhamma deeply. So may you all see the Dhamma, may you all grow in blessings. So we see that these 5 precepts are something truly amazing to keep the behavior of body and speech under control. And this gives rise to peacefulness in our behavior of body and speech. And the benefit of that is happiness and peacefulness. And this is a noble wealth. It's a supreme wealth. This is the wealth of generosity, virtue, and meditation. So one who attains to stream entry to Sotapanna has virtue as their important foundation. And this is something that Dhamma practitioners are able to do because they see the value of it. It's something of incredible, great value, more than other things. Because without virtue, without sila, then beings would cause harm and chaos to one another. So we practice not to hurt or harm the lives of other beings, not to consume things that would damage our mindfulness, but to be well established in virtue, to have, and we see that virtue is paired with loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity, these 4 Brahma Viharas. And so may you develop and grow in these 4 Brahma Viharas. In that way, the 5 precepts are not difficult to care for, not difficult to make firmly established in the heart. And when we practice these 5 precepts, then it brings us samadhi and peacefulness. And that samadhi then leads to wisdom. And so for those who have ordained, we see that they receive the benefits of this virtue, having the virtue of one who's ordained. And so this path that the Buddha taught of virtue, samadhi, and wisdom, the Buddha taught well already. And so we take care of virtue, we undertake the precepts. And the benefit of taking care of virtue is samadhi, this peacefulness and collectedness. And when samadhi, established in the mind, gives rise to wisdom, and wisdom established in the mind gives rise to clear knowing, to liberation, which is able to destroy the ignorance, craving, and attachment, to destroy all clinging in the mind. And this brings the mind to see and attain to the Dhamma, to Nibbana. So we see that the benefits are truly great to this level. But in the world, there are many who don't see the value of virtue. So the one who's able to undertake virtue is one who has faith in the fully self-awakened Buddha, and his teachings. This is true from the Buddhist time up until now as well. So may you set your hearts firmly to be restrained in behavior of body and speech. And the benefits of this are truly great. They lead to seeing the Dhamma. And then when you see the Dhamma already, you'll see that it all began with the practice of generosity and virtue. So therefore these 5 precepts, may you recollect your virtue every day. This is one of the anusati practices, silanusati, kammatthana, the meditation object of recollecting one's virtue. This is able to give rise to samadhi in the mind, to fullness and happiness of heart. And you can rejoice with oneself and other practitioners, rejoicing with the practitioners who have generosity and virtue. This can bring one's own heart fullness and happiness, to give rise to faith and merit further. Those that have come to ordain care for virtue, the 227 precepts of a monastic bhikkhu. And the foundation of this are these very same 5 precepts. So we see that these things that one is prohibited from doing as a monk, like not killing, specifically monks, not killing a human, because killing a human would end the bhikkhu life, not lying about supreme or high dhammas, not breaking one's celibacy, because monastics must maintain a high level of celibacy. So therefore, with the 5 precepts, may you feel confident in them, that these 5 precepts are important and valuable, because we don't want a heart that's agitated or troubled. We don't want to hurt or harm. We don't want to steal from others. But what we want is clear knowing and wisdom. And so therefore we control our behavior to be within the bounds of sila. And we see that virtue is actually that virtue takes care of us. So we establish our mindfulness well. And sometimes maybe anger arises or greed arises, ill will arises. We patiently endure with that to take care of our virtue, to establish it at a high level. And this is a truly great wealth. So I anumodana, rejoice with all of you, whether you're undertaking the 8 precepts or the 5 precepts. May you set your hearts on doing merit of all types. May you all be well established in goodness, as you all do the activities of helping, of making merit, practicing generosity to the monastic sangha. This is something you do all the time to many monasteries, and to this monastery, Wat Mapjan, as well, giving generosity, making merit, helping to spread the Dhamma, caring for sick monks, offering the 4 requisites. So myself and the Sangha here, anumodana, rejoice with all of you. May the power of the Triple Gem, the Buddha Dhamma Sangha, care for and protect you. May all of you have strong health. May you have complete health. May you be free from sickness. May you succeed in your aspirations. May you be firmly established on the path, the Noble Eightfold Path, to know and see the Dhamma.
ยะถาวาริวาหาปูลาปริปูเรนิสากรังเอวะเมวะอิโตทินังเปตันนังอุปกปปติอิจิตังวติตังตุมหังกิปะเมวะสมิจฉันตุสัพเพปูเรนตุสังคปาจันโทปนรสโสยะถามณิโชติรสโสยะถาวันชันตุสาวินาศตุมาเต อา